Well, I think government is a process, and my own background is as a father of four kids in the public schools and as a supporter of the arts through the Kiddo Foundation. I believe that the job of the City Council is to represent everybody. I think my particular perspective comes from the growing families that live in the city, and I want to make sure that that voice is heard. My three pillars, as I call them, are community safety, community sustainability, and community vitality. And those are three kind of broad categories that really talk about what keeps Mill Valley a special place to live, that we all live and enjoy there, and that's where I'm raising my children. For safety, the issues are getting kids to school, traffic issues are always important, and very importantly is disaster preparedness and fire danger, which we're all interested in.
Okay.
I think the budget process in general is always a series of priorities, and I think that the priorities have been set for the last couple of years in the City Council. The idea is keeping continuity for those priorities. It's very important to make sure that the high priorities are taken care of, and I think one of the highest priorities has to be infrastructure spending and roads and sidewalks, which are very important.
Okay.
I think it's really important to have an open dialogue with all citizens. And my background, I have a theater degree, and I was a stage manager. And as a stage manager, one of the things you learn, and I've learned in my professional career as an attorney as well, is getting people with just different perspectives together and making sure that you're not shutting the door on communication. So communications is very key. And I think part of the way my approach to it anyways, is making sure that people are comfortable, making sure that they're heard. And I think that's extremely important because that's the best way to make sure that you have all the information that you need. Well, I think the most important thing with any situation is to make sure that you've got a good handle on the facts first, and that you do understand that decisions that you make do have personal impacts on people. So I think the appropriate way to handle any of these is to make sure that you're fully informed, fully prepared, and take incremental steps in a consensus-building way so that you're not going to one extreme or the other. I think it's really important to build consensus, and having done that, you generally come up with a better solution. Well, the Brown Act requires that anything that's done in a public decision-making process is done fully in the open. That means that you can't have discussions about issues that are before the council that are not open to the public. I think transparency is very important so that everything that happens is something that everyone can see the process working. And I think it's the process itself. Government is a process, and I think it's very important that the process is open and transparent. So that's one of the things that's the rules are there for, and I think they make sense. Well, ethics are a category or a way of describing yourself, setting your standards for yourself at the very highest level. And I think it's so important to build trust. I think that's what's lacking sometimes in some of on the national level. I think at the local level, it's just as important, if not more important, to build that trust. And the way you do that is by holding yourself to a higher ethical standard, which means that you do the right thing, and if you make a mistake, you admit you made a mistake, and you try to make it right.